Last week I was playing a new game that I saw on Switch called Return to Monkey Island, which is a sort of return to an old point click adventure game from the 90s. After the second game, the original creator left and the franchise went in a new direction that most people weren't quite sure about. But in recent years, Ron Gilbert decided to come back and give a give the franchise one last game with his seal of approval. A game that starts off kind of retconning ending of another game, but as the story goes on, it's about the character trying to recapture past glories as he's getting older and new generations are coming in and establishing new orders, new rules, and old enemies are trying to come back to reclaim those same glories. It's a story about getting older, people in your life are changing, and the world around you isn't the same as it was before. And so, to me, the game feels like a narrative about Ron Gilbert's career as a whole. It's about him getting older and looking back at what he did in the past. Even on development, he said that the game he's making now was not the game he would have made after Monkey Island 2, which is interesting to me because it's a game that it feels like it's looking into his mind to show us he is, what he's learned over the years, how he's changed. And I feel like that sort of sentiment is all throughout our media, our cultural identity, because we keep trying to recapture this past. We keep trying to take the games we play as kids, putting them in little plastic boxes, or taking old franchises and making big new movies out of them. But that's not really going to bring it back, is it? We keep trying to recapture that past without trying to make something new to go along with it. We keep trying to tell ourselves it was better back then or it's just not as good anymore and it never will be as good. I don't think there's any real good sentiments to come from that because there's a lot we can learn from new experiences, and trying to recapture those old experiences are just quite depressing. We keep getting older, and I feel like that sentiment is a part of nostalgia. It's something called a 30-year cycle. Like, whatever the time period you lived in 30 years ago will always be better than today. And conveniently, you just kind of forget about all the bigger problems they had to go through. Time keeps flowing one way like a river. It doesn't stop for anything. And we don't really want to accept that. We subconsciously want to keep going back to the old days, to keep pretending that it's better to slink into that hole that under that rock and hope that nothing bad could ever happen. But there's not really anything positive to be gained from that. We can, we are getting older, but that also means we can find all sorts of new experiences, all sorts of wonderful sensations. And it's okay to feel like the best is behind us because that means there's still a lot that we can explore, a lot we can experience, and that doesn't mean that we've experienced everything life has to offer for us.